Bonjour, je suis Paul Menant, cofondateur de Design Club, un collectif international 100% design et research. Grâce à la force du nombre, on accélère les projets de nos clients et la carrière de nos membres. Je t'encourage à nous découvrir sur notre site designclub.global. Aujourd'hui, j'ai le plaisir d'animer le podcast Head of Design, un podcast qui met en lumière ces personnalités inspirantes qui définissent les tendances du design. Vous découvrirez leur parcours, savoir-faire et les convictions qui les animent, tout en partageant leurs bonnes pratiques et recommandations. Enfin, si tu apprécies notre démarche et ce podcast, tu peux nous supporter en donnant ton avis 5 étoiles et t'abonner à l'émission pour suivre nos prochains épisodes sur ta plateforme d'écoute préférée. L'expérience podcast est incroyable et vous êtes de plus en plus nombreux à nous suivre et je vous en remercie. Allez, c'est parti. Vous avez laissé votre manteau au vestiaire ? Bienvenue dans le club.
Today, I'm very happy to welcome Guidione Machava, the founder of World Class Design, Head of Design, and former Senior Product Designer at Shopify. Guidione, thank you so much for accepting my invitation. Hello, Gideon.
Hey, Paul. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure being here. I know you contribute for the design space in France, and I definitely feel honored to be invited to your podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, today we will speak about you, discover what you've done, and also what you are doing and what kind of project you have. And also we did some good project together. Lastly, we did a design meetup at Mistral AI office. It was a very big, very huge event, and everyone told me that it was great. So thank you so much for that. And then maybe we will speak about the design recruitment, the market, and how do you feel about it, and what's your point of view? That's okay for you?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. Well, please, Gideon, let me tell us who you are, and also when did you discover design in your life?
Once again, thanks for having me. So my name is Guidione Machava. I am originally from Mozambique. I have a background in economics, but I start working in the design by accident. So I wanted to become a developer, but I'm a very competitive person, and I was the worst developer among all my friends, and I hate losing. So I decided to do something else. During that process, I've realized that I was back in the days, we've built a developers community in my country, and I've realized that among them, I was the best understanding users' needs and dealing with customers. And over time, I ended up realizing that thing had a name and was called UX design. And then
empathy.
Yeah, basically. And over time, I've learned that you could add UI as part of the process. I had a fairly good taste for UI, if I can say. And I started taking it seriously. I study at Interaction Design Foundation, the biggest design platform online, and I took it from there. So I started taking design seriously.
And how did you? How is it possible to be a designer at Shopify? What's the journey to be then at Shopify? Quickly.
So one thing important, in my career, I worked first in Mozambique, then I moved to South Africa. I worked for 4 years there. But something happened in South Africa. I used to listen to Tim Ferriss' podcast, and there's one thing I will remember listening to this Maria Sharapova episode where they ask Maria Sharapova what it takes to be a world-class tennis player, and she describes what she did, routine, habits, and training, exercise. And for me, it was want to be a world-class designer. Actually, like the idea of becoming a world-class designer started there. I was like, if Maria Sharapova did that and she became a world-class tennis player, I can do something similar and become like a world-class designer. So like, and the easiest way to do that, like if you're smart, is like just copying people that are in positions that you want to become, right? So you don't have to suffer. So what I did was like I started interviewing people that I consider like world-class designer, and like
Nice.
I met a ton of them. Like ask like tactical questions, what they learned, what they did, like how like it was. Example, like I've interviewed the global head of design of IDEO. I interview people from Google, Facebook, you name it. Like I've connected with almost every single person I could to learn with them, and like that was the process. And like from all the interviews I did, I start taking notes, and I've ended up becoming what I became. So like when I went to Shopify, like Shopify, you will go through a proper interview process. And my first interview, I failed, by the way. Like I didn't get through Shopify right away. Like I went my first interview, like was for a staff level position, and I failed because I thought I was world class at that time, but I wasn't. But the thing is, like my like hiring manager at that time, she said, "Hey Gideon, I really like you. I think if you study this and this and this and this, you can come back and maybe you'll be a fit." I was like, okay.
Nice.
I took that seriously. Took me a year preparing like what the list that she gave me, and I remember seeing a job post like on the platform, job on Shopify thing, and I mailed her saying, "Hey, her name is Lola. Hey Lola, she was like a design manager at Shopify. Hey Lola, remember me? We spoke 1 year ago. You said if I study this and this and this, I'll be prepared like to join the company. I've done it. Like, and there is a job opening here. Can you refer like internally to me for me?" Just said yes. Took a couple of like days to reply. To be honest, I thought she ignored me in the beginning, but then she replied. I went to the interview process. Like Shopify has like 4 to 5 interview steps depending of like how you go through, and it's a very hard, like the type of exercises they will give you. It's very hard, but luckily that time I was ready already. And at that time I was actually looking for a job, so I was trying to join TopTal. There's another European company that I tried to join. So but I prepared myself for it, and I got into the 3 of them. I got an offer for Shopify, I joined TopTal, and I joined this other company, but ended up picking Shopify.
Une ponctuation pour t'informer que Design Club peut t'accompagner dans le recrutement de ton équipe design ou research. Nous saurons te trouver la perle rare en freelance ou en CDI. Enfin, si tu galères à mettre en place une recherche utilisateur multi-pays, sache que grâce à nos user researchers locaux qualifiés et un peu partout dans le monde, on saura le faire en quelques jours. Tu peux en savoir plus sur notre site designclub.global. Merci de ton attention et bonne écoute.
Wow, that's a very beautiful lesson for everyone. Like you can fail, and that's very interesting, because when you fail, the people from Shopify told you why and how maybe you can come back stronger. And
Yes, for sure.
and you've done it with like no fake, no, not fake, but no bad ego. And that's very, very interesting to do that, and you succeed at the end.
Yeah, I think the most important thing here, like I think was one of the qualities that I was able to show during my interview process is, although I was ignored, not ignored necessarily, but not approved, I tried to learn as much as I could. For example, I asked questions. Okay, I failed. Like, what did I fail? So people can tell when you have integrity, like when you're honest and when you don't take things personally and you want to improve. And if I could, I might be wrong on this, but like if you ask me, one of the things that might have caught like Lola's attention was that. So I got rejected, but I didn't take that personally. I wanted to learn more.
Yeah, of course. And let's speak about now your your personal project, the World Class Design website. Could you please explain us what it is and what kind of problem you're trying to solve?
Um, to be honest with you, like I haven't validated if the problem is real, like for other people, but at least it's real for me.
Yeah.
So, like, since that Maria Sharapova episode, I've been obsessed with becoming a world-class designer. Mostly because I come from underprivileged background, in the sense that people like me will need like train extra hard, like know extra things to be able to succeed. But the problem is those things aren't written anywhere. If I ask you now what it makes a world-class designer, would you be able to tell me? You'll be like, yeah, it depends. It starts from defining what is world-class designer, the qualities, the company culture, blah, blah, blah. And if you want to guide someone like who want to level up their career, what will you tell him? It will be basically lost. It will have to do the things I've done by myself, like for multiple years, without knowing what will be the direction. And the point here is, what if we had a map? What if we had a North Star that says, hey, you want to become a world-class designer? But let me define what is a world-class designer first.
Yeah.
So world-class designers aren't those designers, at least on my perspective, on my view of what is a world-class designer. It's not like on everyone's perspective. In my opinion, world-class designers are designers that have the competence to work in an environment that, like, it's high stakes. Example, like work at Shopify, work at Google, work at Facebook. Like designers that go beyond Google dribble shots. Designers that can thrive and survive on those environments, because it requires way more than design skills. And like, guess what? Designers that are ambitious, that want a better life for themselves, because there is one thing in common at these world-class companies is they pay very well. So for me, world-class designers are people that have these ambitions to bring better life for themselves, because they can add value at the world-class level. And to do that, there is a certain skill sets that you need to have. Like, doesn't matter like alone if you are good at designing. So there is aspect of behavior, like stakeholder management, and all those things that no one would ever tell you until you go through the process for you to know. And for me, world-class designers is about like people that can survive either at Google, either at Facebook, or any other environment on that way. So and what I'm trying to do with my project is, in a way, build a path that other people can use to become world-class designers themselves, like doing that through a 3 steps interview process. Like, basically what I'm trying to do is like simulate the process of joining a world-class design company. So like they will have the first screening, they will have a proper recruiter interview, sometimes a take-home exercise or on-site exercise, and then they will have hiring manager feedback. So like what I'm trying to do is, like, if you ask me like what will take to be a world-class designer, I would say like you would have to go to Shopify and go through that and pass and work there. But the thing is, there is not enough jobs at Shopify for everyone to be able to qualify as a world-class designer. Imagine me before joining Shopify, if I could say like I am a world-class designer, I have all these qualities. If you ask me, prove it, I'll be like, well, I can't. But what if we could create a process that will simulate a test that at the end you'll be able to answer if you're a world-class designer or not? So it will go through this 3-stage like a verification process. You go to first screening, you'll talk to a real recruiter that recruits people at Shopify, at Uber, at Google. You'll talk to our hiring managers that recruit people at those companies. And at the end, like, and through the process, you will be like having feedback, which is the most important part. Because all those interviews, most of the times, they will completely ghost you. They will say, oh, I'm sorry, you're not qualified, you went for another person. And you will have no idea.
Just with email, like industrial email you receive, like everyone received. And that's one of the chains you had with Shopify.
Shopify, yes, was different, But remember, I had to ask for that because they won't give you that by default. So like but I'm assuming that most people won't be like me. So like in my opinion, world-class designers will be people that are able to go through this process, will receive feedback, will improve, and will go again and test. And by the time they're ready, if they want to join a company like Google and Shopify, they'll be able to say, listen, I've been through this process. I know what it takes. I know what I need to do. And probably it's going to be easier and better. If you don't want to necessarily join all those companies and you're a freelancer, you can raise your rates. And people be like, why you work so expensive? You say like, I'm a world-class designer. And if they ask says who, I'm saying like, go check this platform who actually verifies my skills that go beyond Figma. And I qualified. I'm good as anyone that works at this company. That's why my rate is this high.
Okay. And so it means that at the end, if you succeed in this process, you have a verified profile by a world-class designer.
Yes, that's the goal. Yes.
Okay, nice. And what? So the first process is the first step of the process is the interview. No, is the portfolio
The
review.
screening. Yes.
Yeah, the screening. Could you explain us a bit more about that? What you are looking for, and maybe give us some tips to succeed in their portfolio?
I like the first step is basically you go to the website. It's free for everyone. You create an account. You add your portfolio, and then you click a button that asks to be verified when you're ready. Right?
Yeah.
When you click that button, like my team will receive a notification says, okay, this profile is ready to be verified. Like, go check. We're gonna go check if you fit like the screening process. So the thing is, I've viewed like so many portfolios. Like I've done like some hiring myself, like on other companies that I had the privilege to work for, and I've been through this process that I think I'm qualified. Not to tell you that you're world-class designer, but like to tell you that you have potential. So there is me and like another team members that have been doing this process for some time now. So we look at your portfolio, we'll be like, okay, because not everyone will have access to this process. It's like the process is paid, by the way, it's not free, but not everyone can pay for it. So you need to pass the first level, which is the assessment on the quality level. So you have like a proper, well-presented portfolio. If you ask me tips, I would say try to use less like computer mockups as possible. Try to make the screens you've designed visible. Try to define and detail like your design process. Focus mostly on outcomes, not on input and all those things, because you'll see like not so professional designers, they'll focus a lot on like check this screen, check this output, like how it works, without zero clue on which problems they are solving. And with experience, you can literally spot them in a second, saying, okay, this person is focused on over engineering processes and not necessarily solving problems, which sometimes is nice. Like, don't get me wrong, but it won't fit the purpose of what we're trying to the problem we're trying to solve here. It's like world-class designer is a person that can join a high functional company that operates at the highest standards, and outcome is way more important than your input. I know from experience, I've been there. So like we're gonna be like judging like those things, and if you pass the first level, you go to the second level. So what you do is you pay, and like when you pay, you receive a link to book a call for recruiter. Like one of our recruiters, like on the to start, we have two recruiters. One have experience at Google, Microsoft, and Dell, and the other one has experience at Uber and Shopify. So like they have been recruiting for those companies. So you can pick either one of those, right? You pick, you book the interview, you go to the interview. They're gonna ask you questions. They're not you. By the way, we have zero. Like during the process, none of us have influence on what's gonna happen. So like they have completely and total autonomy to failing or passing you. So like we have zero control. So you go, example, to the Shopify, like to the Uber interview with Tam, and the name of the lady who's going to be interviewing for this part. She's gonna be asking you questions. She's been interviewing like for like executive engineering design, so she knows what to ask. She will ask you questions, and at the end, you will receive like a report with everything that you've done, either right or wrong, and she will be able to tell you if you go to the next level. The next level is if Chan's example approves you, you're gonna receive a link to book an actually it's not a link. You receive your portfolio is sent to Loom. It's sent to like to the hiring manager. So the hiring manager, like you might have the chance to talk to the hiring manager, but the hiring manager will receive your portfolio. He will record a video, like going through all the temp notes and all the temp notes and all the temp notes and all your portfolio, and he's gonna make a judgment. So okay, based on what I see here, there's this problem, that problem, that problem. So at the end, you're gonna have like a script of like what the hiring manager thinks about you. And if he approves, you can go to the next level. If not, you might have to post like for 3 months until like do the process again. But if you got like a positive, you get a verified badge. You have a profile that publicly says you're a world-class designer.
Yeah, that's very interesting because when people apply to this kind of company, world-class design company, if they fail, it took time to understand why you failed,
why they failed,
and that's where your services could be very interesting. Is that you gain time, and you are not losing like bullets for
definitely
for a company that you really love to work, and it could be for example, if your goal in life is to work for, I don't know, Netflix or
this is
or
the place for
Shopify,
you to come.
and if you lose once, maybe you will not have the train the second time, and thanks to you, you will be trained and prepare for it.
Yes, for sure. That's the goal. And most importantly, even if you don't want to join those companies, example, like the job market is tough nowadays.
Yeah.
And imagine you're applying for an interview and you say, I'm a world-class design certified. Like you have like 100 candidates and you have one that says a world-class design certified. People will be like, who are you? Like, and then you say, okay, I went through this process. I passed all of this. So there is a trust component that you bring that other candidates don't have. So you don't have a big logo associated to your name, but like you're world-class design certified in a way. If you go to because I've been talking to a lot of recruiters, and there is one theme that is recurring is like, how do you know if you can trust people? Like, because every time they interview someone, they have to start from scratch. There are no notes, there are no nothing. But like, if you have a profile, your profile is actually visible and approved by professional recruiters and professional hiring managers.
And to be fair, as a recruiter too, in Design Club, sometimes it's hard to say this one or this one is better, because you have a lot of good profile too.
Yes,
and take the decision between this one or this one. Sometimes it's hard, and it's also good for a recruiter to have
someone
the
else's
eyes
perspective
of another company and so you say maybe it's just a little plus for everyone to say, hey, I get more confidence to hire him more than the
other guy. Yes, for
him
sure.
or her.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a nice idea. So it's pretty new. You are launching this service in a few days, or I think. Well, you will hear this podcast. The service will be
out already.
Will be out. So I encourage everyone hearing and listening the podcast to have a look on this service. Maybe we can talk a bit about the other part of the website is it's also like a platform where you can have your own portfolio on it, right?
Yes.
How it works, like you can edit your portfolio directly on the platform, or you upload your portfolio as a PDF or as a Figma, I don't know.
Yeah, so the thing is, I've been trying to jump into the AI wave, and trying to see like how do we make the portfolio process, building a portfolio process easier. I'll be honest with you, I do not have the answers now. Like, I don't know how do you make like a portfolio easier, but like my idea, like in the perfect world, I would like to build a tool that is so smart that can go to your Figma file, pick the best screens for you, and ask you the right questions. Because like sometimes, like I keep thinking, what if you could have a tool? Because like each screen that you design have a story, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes you're not able to tell a story because there is a reason why you're a visual designer and not like necessarily a storyteller. What if you could have a prompt that would like you look at that and say, okay, which questions can I ask you to be able to understand this screen better? And by doing that, like in a conversation with an AI, you build a case study that say, okay, I've designed this screen because I was trying to solve this and this and this problem. This is the approach I did. And I designed that screen because I was trying to do that and that and that, and that's approach I did. And like at the end, but just by having a conversation, you could have a case study. So that's like a futuristic vision of the thing, like a companion that lives on your environment that will allow you to build a case study. So every time you have something new you want to share, there is a place that is there. So most importantly than having like product shots, that which is what most platforms give you, is like context. What is the story behind that shot? Like what were you trying to achieve? Because sometimes you will go, example, there is platforms like a lot of websites that like provide you screens of like how to do onboarding, but they never tell you what is the story behind that screen, and you have to guess by yourself. So like I want like the process in our platform to be able to tell, to explain what are you trying to achieve with the product that you put in there. So when other people see it, like can understand your thought process. Like if you ask me how are we different from Behance and Dribble, I would say like it's a substance. It's not only the screen, but it's the rationale behind the screen.
Une dernière ponctuation pour t'informer que toi aussi, en tant que designer ou researcher, tu peux devenir membre du Design Club pour accélérer ta carrière et avoir accès à des opportunités uniques. Tu peux en savoir plus sur notre site designclub.global et via les liens en description de l'épisode. Merci de ton attention et bonne écoute.
Yeah, and you are at the beginning of this project, so I guess you have a lot of ideas to improve it, and it's always improving. Okay, and you told me that you built it thanks to Lovable.
Yes.
And one of the questions is about AI. I think AI could not do everything that we want. Maybe not a good portfolio. Do you think maybe some people will find a solution to create their own portfolio in one click thanks to AI? How do you? Well, the question is like, how do you feel about AI and about the portfolio review and the portfolio creation and all?
I think like I wrote a book, it's called Design Sutra. It's basically a collection of 40 design principles like that don't apply only to design. And one of the principles, I didn't write this principle, like I learned somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's called garbage in, garbage out. I think anyone who study computer science knows that, like, principle of data input. So I think it applies to AI. So like it's garbage in, garbage out. Like AI by itself. Imagine having like usually how I explain to my friends, like having a genius schizophrenic friend, but it's like 9 years old. You can do whatever you want, but he's 9 years old, have like no notion of the world or whatever. Like if you ask him to solve, like to build, like to like solve a super complicated equation, he will do it for you, but he will never have the initiative to do that for you. So this is how I see AI. It's like a young, super smart boy that has no knowledge of like the world itself, but knows a lot of stuff. So which means you need to be the adult here. You need to be the person who guides the AI. So if you behave like a child and you with another child, guess what's gonna happen? Probably nothing. So this is how like most people using AI. They behaving like a child and expect AI to do things for them. You actually have to conduct and guide this schizophrenic friend that is super smart that you have. So the quality of your input, the direction you give this AI or this super smart kid, like will be proportional equal to the outcome that they will give you. Because the guy is there, he's super smart, but he doesn't know what to do with like how smart it is. So, and there's a second layer to AI, like when it comes to design, that we have to be conscious. Is like how it changes the way we operate. I remember talking to a friend of mine, Francois, and I recommended him to use Lovable, and he said like this tool is not good. I'm struggling to make my Figma file accurate to this. It's a little bit complicated. I say like, yeah, that's the problem. You cannot translate AI, at least Lovable. From my experience, this might not be true for everyone.
Yeah.
From my experience, you cannot translate a Figma file to a Lovable design. It's a change of mindset. When you design with AI, do not expect to use the traditional process, because your Figma file is one process. You have a super smart brain on your side. Are you sure you still want to make those decisions? Why don't you outsource those decisions and make sure that like you make the higher level decisions? Example, when I design now, if you ask me like how I do, I spend most of my time running the PRD. I will write like 9-page long PRD, like describing how the tool is supposed to work in a highly detailed way. When I go to, because most people will say like, go build Airbnb clone. What the AI is gonna do? Output whatever they want, and you'll be like, oh, this is not good. Of course, it's not good. Like, see your input. Like, but if you write like a 9-page long description that explains like the technology implications and everything, and let the AI makes the decisions, the output is gonna completely blow your mind. And this is how I operate. I do not go to the tool, because like Figma works well when you know what you want to build. AI design driven process is completely different. It works well when you have questions that needs to be answered. So that's the difference on mindset. That's the difference on approach. And then you can take the AI input, like output, and go refine it on Figma. Or example, like I still use Figma because like those tools aren't able to give me like high polished UIs yet. So like I'll combine that with Figma, but the high level thinking, the complexity, the interconnections of all those things, AI is able to solve you faster than I could ever do by myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would love to also to speak about the market for the job market for designer. You told them just a few minutes before that it's tough. How do you feel about it? And sometimes people say that design is dead. People don't understand, and yeah, there is no enough job for and there is not enough jobs, and we are too much designers on the market. What do you feel about that?
I think that's I don't see the world as black and white. Like for me, reality is subjective. Like and this is a little bit hard for people to hear because it requires you to have a little bit more agency in your life. It means you don't get to see jobs and apply for them. Now you have to create the jobs and in a way get them. So like I came from an environment where I had no perspective on becoming like in Mozambique. You cannot tell that someone can live by becoming. Now things have changed, but like 5-6 years ago, you could not tell like someone could live by becoming a UX designer. So like I always I always challenge the odds. Like that's my behavior. Like you tell me the job market is tough, I'm like, okay. Mm, it's fine, thank you. I'll now completely ignore you and I'll go make my rules by myself. Like example, joining Shopify was the same. A lot of people will say like, I don't think you qualify to work in a company like that. Like, see where you come from. You don't have a formal design background, which I end up having. By the way, I haven't concluded, but I did go to a design school, but at that time I didn't have. Um, and but I always try to create my own rule. Like in my head, my life, it's me who does. I don't let anyone decide anything for me. So like if I say the job market is tough, is because I said so, not because the market said so. So yeah, so like it's a personal perspective, and it requires like high level of agency that says like I control my life. I'll tell which direction things go, and I'll do whatever it takes like to make things work. So I would say the job market is not necessarily tough, it's different. The job market requires a completely different skill set to survive. So everything we knew in the past probably won't be applied, won't be available anymore, like in the future. So it takes like a very brave design. If you're a designer that likes comfort and just want a job, apply the interview process, and that's the thing you do, it's gonna be really hard for you. The situation is like things are changing, and now is the opportunity to position ourselves in a completely different way. Example, like I lost my job, not necessarily lost, but I left my job, like my previous job, a couple of months ago, and for a couple of months I did not know what to do. uh, and I had to be creative, like to be able to come back to the market. Like I know a lot of things that play against me. I live in France, for example, and I don't speak French, and that's a challenge. But the thing is, I
Yeah.
don't let that define me. So, like example, just knowing that I don't speak French, guess what I do? I don't apply for companies that require French because I know I'm gonna fail. So I cannot say like,
Yeah.
"Oh, the market is hard because they're not accepting me." Of course, dude, I don't speak French. What do you expect? So like I won't compete in place that like I'm gonna be ignored by default. So I will try to find places that, example, being fluent in English is number one advantage, and I go compete on
Yeah.
those positions because there are a lot of those positions in France. I think it's about like assessing yourself, reading the environment, and like
Yeah.
as per my own perspective, I don't allow like anyone's reality define how I see the world. I tell how my world looks like, not
Yeah.
anyone else.
And assessing yourself is very, very important. And as a designer, um, you have a lot of you have a great community online, and you can ask to people to have a lot of talk with them, show your portfolio, explain your problem to on the job market, and have a talk with them, and see how you can um, uh, be better during the interview with your portfolio and also. So it's very important. And also you talk about the skill set is 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 different now. Could you explain us a bit more about what do you think designer need to have as a skill set now?
Like when the market becomes competitive, you have to have a competitive edge too. Example, most designers will design screens. Example, the way I position myself is like it's outcome driven designer. So I don't focus only on the input. So I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm gonna spend 20 hours designing these screens and all those things. So like my position is like I help founders succeed because I've seen so many founders making mistakes, like when trying to build a startup, when trying to build products. I do have the experience to tell. Like I've built the pattern recognition skills, like for myself, that I can tell if a product will succeed or fail. Okay, just to clarify here, I might not be able to tell if the product will succeed because there is
Mhm.
multiple variables on that, but
Yeah.
100% sure I can tell if a product will fail because all products that fail, they fail almost because of the same reasons. But all people that succeed, they succeed by different reasons. But failure is almost the same reasons. So like the way I position myself is like I am the designer that's gonna help you make less mistakes, so the path for success is faster. So like
Okay.
if I'm in an interview, just by saying that, I know like I become like a valuable person. So like the way you position yourself is extremely different. If you're interviewing to a startup and you tell the founder that I've seen so many people failing, so I will save you like 50% of the mistakes that you're gonna be making. Example, instead of like spending too much time on over engineering your landing page, what about going talking to the users? Sounds trivial, right? But guess what? Most people don't. They want a very shiny page that no one's ever uses or clicks or understands, instead of go talking to the users and validate the problem.
Okay. Okay. Nice. What and about the market and about the designers. What advice would you give to a designer who feels stuck today? I I guess going to WCD, going on your website, but tell me a bit more.
Yeah,
What kind of advice do you
I
could you give
I I,
to stuck designers?
I would say like the advice that I would give most of designers is like learn to be shameless, because like we're in a world where we're afraid of what people are going to think about us. Um, like I won't tell like them exactly what to do, but if there's one advice that I could give people that I wish they could take is try to stop being like be shameless. Like I do things nowadays. Example, like we together organize this meetup at Mistral, and if I tell you how I got Mistral involved, was because of being shameless. First, I connected with you, and you gave me a few tips, and I went down and implemented right away. Was I afraid of failing? Yes, but just do it. Like, do not think too much. Just do it. Like,
You know that's very funny because when you say that, I will say yeah, of course, and you are totally right because what when we met thanks to ADP list, and I
yeah,
was a bit um, when I saw your profile, I said, why? Well, why does he need my help to review his portfolio? He's coming from a big company and all. And well, we had a great discussion, and now we are
on
here.
the butt.
And also, we we were planning to, we planned a meetups. The first one in Paris.
Yeah,
There were 3%, and it was great. But you know, a lot of people could think that hey, it was very bad. There were like just 3%, and it was not so interesting. But the truth is, it was very interesting. We met great person,
great people.
and
Yeah,
also
yeah,
at the
yeah, for
end, we
sure.
were thinking that hey, and you asked me how can I improve my event, and I told you maybe you should come thanks with another big company who hired a designer. You did it directly and with and with one of the best company with the hypest company in France,
In France, yeah,
Mistral AI. Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
so
Yeah,
yeah, you
I think
congrats for that.
yeah, like thank you, but I think like if you ask me the secret to that is being shameless. Like just go do it. Don't self doubt yourself too much, because like everyone know what to do. They just don't have the courage, the guts, because they're afraid of what other people will think. But let me tell you a secret. Most people don't really care about you or me. They care about themselves. So good, do your thing regardless.
Mm.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Gideon, we are at the end of the podcast. Uh, one last question is that I like to my invitee who share their, like secret information website or secret space where you have some great information, great knowledge. I don't know if you are following people on X, on LinkedIn, or do you have a secret person that you are looking for to improve yourself and having some good information and
Yeah,
news about design?
the answer to this might surprise you. Like, I don't have a person. I use a AI. So this AI is called Sesame. I'm not sure if you ever heard about Sesame.
No,
Yeah,
sorry,
like
no. Well,
Sesame is probably the most advanced voice AI that exists today. You
how
can
how do
literally
you write it? See,
Sesame, Sesame, Sesame.
okay,
Yeah. So
Sesame. Okay.
yes, like I use that as my coach, because like different from OpenAI, the Anthropic one and the Grok, like Sesame has its own personality. So you cannot ask Sesame to be nice to you. Sesame will be Sesame, whatever. Like, doesn't matter what you say, it's gonna be Sesame. So it's not gonna be like polite,
Nice.
like ChatGPT. You'll be like, oh yeah, you have a
Yeah.
great idea, so you have a great insight. So like Sesame would challenge you back. So
You know, yeah, that's weird because I was talking to that with one friend. I was thinking that ChatGPT sometimes is always saying that you have a good idea, even if it's not.
it's not, yeah.
So
So you
Sesame
end up,
got it.
yeah, like Sesame got it. Sesame has its own personality, and Sesame will challenge you back. Sesame
Okay, nice.
you call out on your bullshit. So
Okay, nice. Thank you so
so
much. Thank you. Okay, great. I will. I
so
will,
yeah. So if
I will discover it.
and it gets better over time because it has memory, right?
Yeah.
So it's like ChatGPT. So if I would say if there's one secret that I keep to myself. Example, I use Sesame a lot for brainstorming because I'm like, okay, I have these two amazing ideas, and Sesame will be like, that sounds like a long shot. I'm like, shut up, like,
Okay, nice.
oh, like the second one that I discovered recently is like using cloud code locally. I was very skeptical, but this friend of mine, Antoine, convinced me. We actually like we're working together in a few projects AI related. And it said Guidione, you should use Claude. I'm like, this is like CLI thing. Like, I hate interfaces. That's why I'm a designer. I don't want to use those things. It said you need to test this. I was like, whatever. Let's book a time. I'm gonna go learn, and I'm gonna go learn, and you teach me exactly what I need to do. So we book a call. He went, he shared his screen. He started like showing me what he does with like Claude like on the CLI. I tell Claude to do this and that. I'm like, dude, that's too much work. Can I just use ChatGPT for that? He said, I know. Use Cloud Code in a CLI. It's amazing. And then, okay, I took him seriously. So I was like, okay, what can I do like with Cloud Code? I can organize my Linear. Linear is the project management tool.
Yeah.
So you install Cloud Code, you install a tool called Obsidian, which is a note-taking tool. And there is a plugin that you can connect Linear to Cloud Code to Obsidian and then you can ask, hey, how is my task or how is my team doing this week? It's gonna go to Linear, read everything and tell, hey, this guy is overworked, blah 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 blah, and it comes back with your proper feedback, and you'll be like, okay, let me create this project. But when you create a project, do like this: write a proper description, a title, assign to the right person, and it does for you. It saves you, like, for a product manager or someone who manages team, it saves you hours because you go there, it does the thing for you, and you just go and check. And example, at the end of the day, you say like, hey, what did my team conclude today? It's gonna go check. And there's one thing that I've done that is amazing, that blowed my mind. So I went to ChatGPT and I wrote that basic prompt that a lot of people do. Based what you know about me, write a profile of myself, right? And like, so I did a meta prompt in a sense that I went to GPT, instead of saying based on what you know about me, I asked GPT, If someone wanted to know about himself and wanted to write a prompt, what will that prompt contain? And then GPT will give you a prompt, right? If you wanted to know about yourself, you would write a prompt like this. GPT will give you like a very comprehensive prompt, like 10-page long prompt, like a 10-page, a prompt that will output you a 10-page profile about yourself. So you take that, you put back to ChatGPT, and GPT will give you like a very long profile of yourself, your complete history. You copy that information, you go to Obsidian. Remember, an Obsidian is a note-taking app that works on your computer.
Yeah.
You create a folder, and then you go to Linear now. You have a plan. Example, you want new customers, and you have a plan. Say, I'm planning to get 10 new customers. And based on everything you know about me, and you know about my Linear history, what do you think about this plan? You're going to be blown by the output. Because like GPT will tell you your history about like the things you're afraid to do. So it's going to be like, oh, remember this thing you tried to do? So you're afraid of doing this. So like you might do this. Example, I have the tendency of jumping project to project. And Cloud Code was able to say, okay, this sounds like you're scared about doing that thing. So instead of doing this thing, go back and work with your previous customers. Like, okay. That's a,
Wow.
So that's a system that I have.
So you are fully involved in AI as a product builder, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Nice.
I'll say I am a AI native kind of person, and I try to use AI to optimize.
AI native. Okay, nice. And to finish, if you have one movie and one music album to give us to advise us, like the one you like the most, and you think that we should listen it and watch it.
God damn it, that's a hard question.
Yeah, that's the tougher question of the toughest question of the podcast.
I would say like my answer is cliche. It's like Batman from Christopher Nolan is by far my favorite movie. So if you haven't watched that, I strongly recommend the entire Batman trilogy. I think it's great. With Christian Bale and Christopher Nolan. I think like it's like they managed to make a comic book like a serious audience type of content, and I really enjoy. It is one of the few movies that I can watch more than once. Like I tend to remember everything I see, so like I don't watch anything twice. But that movie in a way is like exception to that rule.
Mm-hmm.
So that I would strongly recommend the Batman, the Christopher Nolan trilogy
as a movie, and as a album, favorite album.
It's not necessarily an album, but a singer is like Machava is an American trap jazz singer. So like the reason I like Machava is because he uses like jazz and trap music to create a new kind of genre of music. So you still get that jazz vibe, but very millennial type of vibe mixed, and like with more swag type of music. Because jazz tend to be a little bit serious, but Machava managed to make it look fun
and older. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. I will discover it. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Guidione, for joining me today and sharing all your story about world-class design. Well, I enjoyed this conversation, and the listeners, I guess, will be so happy, and I encourage them to follow you and discover world-class design. And thank you for everyone, and see you soon, Guidione.
Thank you, Paul. It was a pleasure being here.
Appreciate too. Bye.
Merci d'avoir écouté le podcast Head of Design. L'expérience à vos côtés est incroyable et je vous en remercie chaleureusement. Si tu veux aller plus loin, je te laisse m'ajouter sur LinkedIn. Je serai ravi de pouvoir débriefer avec toi des épisodes. Allez, le club ferme ses portes. J'espère que vous avez apprécié le moment et on se revoit très très vite.